Hi, welcome back to Dial of Twang. I'm Dave. So we got a little slow groove here. I've used this backing track before, but for some different skills. So it's a nice one to work with this idea over. It's kind of a slower tempo. Excuse me. Um, and so it gives you time to kind of work through this idea of having a routine to start off your improvisation. Now, there's some contradiction between those two words, right? Improvisation, right? Spontaneous, creative, and routine, something that's already kind of predetermined. So I get that. But scaffolding, right? A lot of folks, I'm getting a lot of feedback like, hey, for you, it looks like second nature, and here's what I take away from that feedback. It's very good feedback because I'm creating the chords, I'm creating the beat, then I'm playing the lead. Of course, it's all about me, right? So when I put myself in your position, it's like, oh, okay, it's not a song that I recognize, right? It's not a cover. There's not a vocal melody to follow, just, other than kind of trying to, go along with what Dave's doing in the improv, like, how do I get started? Okay. Some of you just go ahead and kind of do your own thing and that's where you're at with it. But many are asking me about that. Like what, I need the genesis. I just need to get going, in that direction. So I've put together a kind of a new way of thinking for myself and based on what you've, informed me of, and hopefully this will help. So, using a routine. Okay, now in this case, we've got, I played the chords the first time around on that intro, but it's G, okay, E minor, 7, I guess, and then C, and then back to G, okay? So this routine stuff, and we'll talk about how this can work out and how it can help you evolve and sort of launch you into that, move you into that space where things do start to be more spontaneous and kind of in the moment. But starting off by having just something a framework that's musical. Although the first step of this, the way I'm presenting it today, is straight up arpeggios, right? But even with that, I'm putting a little bit of a curve, a change in direction at the end. And that's so that it goes from just being sort of like a completely mechanical type of sounding arpeggio to having, a phrasing or a statement that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, a sentence with punctuation. So the first one I'm doing for G, and I'm using a 7th arpeggio for each one, okay? So that means that the two major chords have natural 7ths in them, and the one fret or one half step below the root, and the E minor 7 has a flat 7 in it. Okay, so you're not going to have to do a lot of analysis on this. Don't get hung up on all that. Here's what the first one looks like, and I wrote them down for you. Okay, so it's a G major 7 arpeggio, even though we're just playing a G triad down here. Right, root third 5, 7, root third, and I come back down after that second octave, the 5th, down to the 3rd, and kind of rest there. It gives it more of a statement, more of a melodic phrasing. And it gives us some room to breathe. We hold that for the remaining part of that chord to the next chord, and that also helps punctuate it, right? 2, 3, 4. Now, the reason it's a routine is I did the same business, different kind of chord, but the same pattern. Root third 5, 7, flat 7 in this case. Root third 5. Excuse my out of tune singing to back that up, right? But see how that's the same phrase over 2 different chords, right? Same timing and everything. So we got. All right. And then our last chord is, well, there's 3 chords. The last one's actually G, but the next chord is C. There it is written out. But guess what? Same routine. Root third 5, natural 7. Root third 5, root third. Okay. So just kind of rocking that back down to that dropping that back down to that third gives it a shape, right? And that space in between becomes musical as well as the notes that we're playing, right? So let's see what we got here. Oh, I bet you that was the first chord. Sounded like it, yeah. We're gonna take it around and get you from the top. Okay, so here we go with that G. Wait for the 1. Now, on the end, I just did a little duda. I guess that's the 5th of the G. All right. Just kind of a little G triad there. And leaving a lot of space, right? Okay. The next thing in the demo was I started off sort of the same. So I'm scaffolding, right? I get that to where I can do that. You know, it might take a while of practicing that to be able to keep going with that track. And you got plenty of space in between to rest, but you know, you're still, if it's new to you, that's gonna be, you know, quite a bit of practice to get that where you can play that all the way across. And remember, at some point, you know, you're gonna venture off of that and start doing your own thing, your own phrasings and some different note choices. But there's something to get you going, right? And so the next time around in the demo, I went. All right, so I'm writing these out as well, and I won't, you know, go into the minutia of exactly what the formula is there, but you can see it's a arpeggio again. Then several notes right out of the scale. Right. And then, you know, it skips a couple of chord tones there, or scale tones rather, and kind of goes back down to, you know, an arpeggiated sound at the end of those. But they're also typical. Okay. So there's 2 times around where you've got 2 different versions of a routine, but the theme has already been established, right? Then I think I did a little bit of, you know, I just played like, you know, some other kind of higher, you know, arpeggios, and I let them overlap more. I wasn't as strict about, after I got going, I kind of loosened up with making every chord its own assigned thing, and just kind of, but I was still using that motif. Major pentatonic, G major. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to do too much demo on this today because, I really encourage you to, make this your own. Take this scaffolding idea and this stuff that's, tabbed out and, get it down pretty good. And then, start letting yourself go. And, even though you're kind of using my original impression of the routine and the phrasing, you'll start to branch out, right? And you'll have, that stuff will be under your fingers from rehearsing it, and you'll just kind of make different musical choices, but using the same framework. And I really hope that that helps. And thanks for all the feedback. That's how we shape the content on this channel. And now that I'm working one-on-one with quite a few folks, I'm getting even more feedback that's even more focused, and it's helping me to address not just their individual needs, but hopefully kind of generalize these improvements in a way that just makes the channel better for everybody. So have fun with this one. Let me know how it goes. I'll talk to you soon.